Hi guys, this is Dylan with The Art of Floating, and today I just want to walk you through how we maintain our water. Of course, water maintenance is really important with float tanks, so here we go. The first thing is making sure people can float, really important. We use a hydrometer for that. Yours is probably going to look different than this one. We got this one from Floataway with our Tranquility float tank. But basically, what you're going to do is you're going to suck up a bunch of water out of your float tank, and it's going to tell you what the specific gravity is. And so that's going to let you know if it has enough salt to float people or not, or it's potentially it could have too much in there, in which case it can crystallize and harm your motor. If there's not enough in there, they're going to be sinking to the bottom. So we check that every single day. You might not have to check salt every single day. It's not going to fluctuate that much, but it's really easy to do, so we just consistently do check it. The other really important one, possibly even more important, is your water safety. We use hydrogen peroxide in our water. We don't believe in using ozone or bleach or anything else in there, just because bromine, because the chemicals can affect your skin. You're breathing it in an enclosed space, so we like to use hydrogen peroxide. That won't always be available for you in other cities. They might have restrictions on what you can do, so you might have to. So this is only about hydrogen peroxide. So basically, we test it every single morning, and we also test it at closing, just to make sure that we have hydrogen peroxide in the water. It's really important. If it drops below zero, your water can grow bacteria, particularly overnight. It can have a smell and odor in there because of that. And if that's the case, it can take well over a gallon of hydrogen peroxide to bring your tank back to appropriate levels. So if you have too much in there, it can also harm somebody. So making sure it's at the right range is important. The other thing we do on the daily is check the water temperature. It's really important for us to check it just because, well, we had an instance where the sensor fell out of the float tank, so we thought it was at room temperature, constantly tried to heat up the water, so we came in, it was scalding hot. So we couldn't have anybody float like that. We got bags of ice from the Quickie Mart down the street and brought the temperature down as quickly as we could, and we were able to float somebody by the time we opened, which was great. But because of that, we got this. So now we always make sure that the water is at temperature when we open in the morning. Also, your temperature readout can be incorrect. It can start to go off as time goes on, and so this can be a good way to make sure it's at the appropriate temperature. There are other things that we do throughout the week, like checking pH and alkalinity. This is one that's not going to fluctuate a whole lot, but we do check it twice a week. pH and alkalinity can, if it's off, we've had a green color before, or almost like a yellow-green in there. I believe it can also turn your water brown as well, so making sure that your pH and alkalinity is appropriate is important. Beyond that, you might also want to check water height. We don't check it just because there are kind of markers on our float tanks where we know if it's too low and we need to add water, but you may want to measure it every day just to make sure it's at the appropriate height. Also, room temperature, you might want to make sure that it's always the same temperature in the room as well, and just mark that off on your sheet. Beyond that, we also change our filters every week. We found that really helps with water quality, maintaining the life of your water, and also making sure there aren't any odors. And then just to track everything, we use this sheet here. This tracks everything that we covered except for changing filters. And it also has some readouts of how much, let's see here, hydrogen peroxide we added or bicarbonate that we add, just to make sure that that's in the system as well. So when we're actually taking the readings, we put it on this paper here, and then we put it into the computer in Helm. That's put out by Float On or Float Solutions, Float Tank Solutions. And so that works great for us for recording it. Otherwise, I'd say you probably still want to put it in your computer. So we'll have this available on the website in a Word document, a PDF file, and whatever you Apple users use, we'll have it in that file as well. And beyond that, I think that's about it for water quality. If you have any questions at all, please just leave a post and we'll get back to you as soon as we have an answer for you. And otherwise, have a good one. Thank you.